All right, welcome back to another episode of Sunny Days at the Racetrack. It's a little bit of a different show today. It's just me. I mean, we do have Danny, but as you can see, his hat is off and he's ashamed because this team was spanked by the fucking Rags 9-2 the other day. And yeah, he's had it off since. But our boy Anthony is a proud dad. He's with his boy Nino and he's with his beautiful wife. And listen, show must go on. He's in our hearts, though, right, Anthony? Um, but yeah, this team, guys, I mean, we've been talking about it all season. This is a team that has been trying to do the same old song and dance, and at some point, everything's going to age out. This core is not what it used to be. This is not the team that pushed the Lightning to Game 7. This is not the team that would shut you down defensively, take you to deep waters, and drown you. This is a team now that is slow and old and needs some youth injected into it big time. Obviously, the big elephant in the room, well, not even an elephant, everybody kind of knew this was happening. The Islanders have been eliminated from playoff contention with losing to the Flyers yesterday in the shootout. That pretty much killed our hopes. We still have 3 games left to just maybe get some pride or maybe tank it and hope for a better draft pick at this point. That was the only positive. I was talking to another Islander fan yesterday that now they're losing when they're supposed to lose. Let's lose and try to get a better pick. That I understand. Yeah, this team has been, I think, disappointing is a bit of an understatement for this season. I know being on the power play has never been our strong point, but the penalty kill has always been pretty strong, and we are 31st in the league in both of those. And having that pretty much be a trend all season has made me feel like this team did not have what it takes to, go deep and actually make a playoff run and even get to the playoffs and get past the first round. To me, it seemed like they were going to come up short this year, which is what happened. And I never want the team to, lose or not make playoffs. I always want them to be successful every year, but sometimes reality has to set in, and this team needs a big reality check. Something I've mentioned in prior episodes with Anthony that I don't know if it necessarily needs a full overhaul rebuild, but it needs some changes, some big ones, particularly the front office. I mean, we've been talking about this too, that Lou Lamoriello is obviously not the guy anymore. I mean, the guy is a legend. He's built some great teams. And yeah, I mean, he did a lot with this team with very little when he first came on. But his biggest thing was adding Trotz. And Trotz was really able to bring in his system that worked with what we had and went from being the worst penalty kill to the best penalty kill, worst goals against to the best goals against average. It was insane. But now that time is over. These days now, it's all about speed and skill, and we don't have a whole lot of that. Anthony Duclair obviously wasn't enough. He did not really do enough when he was healthy. I mean, so much so now that we saw that Wah ripped him a new asshole, and then he had to take a leave. So that's a whole nother fucking problem. At that point, it's like you've been on 9 different teams, right? In 10 years, something like that. And yeah, I mean, you got to be soft. I mean, if a coach tears into you because he thinks that you're not, having enough effort and you just leave your team, like, who are you? Like, if you're injured, one thing. But, to me, it just seems like, I mean, I don't know if it's official that he's just not injured. I'm pretty sure he's not. But just coming onto this team and making a commitment that you're going to work with these guys to the end and then just leaving when the going gets tough. I mean, that's not something we want on this team. So yeah, obviously front office, big changes. Lou and ownership, I'm assuming we're going to have a big conversation. He's already been in the hot seat, at least in our minds. Him adding Wah was a Hail Mary to kind of keep his career with this team alive. And yeah, I mean, Wah gave that initial boost last season after Lambert was gone, and squeaked into the playoffs and had a quick exit. But we had a full season under Wah, and I was really excited for it. That's something I mentioned in the very last episode of the season prior, and then even the first episode of this year. I really was hoping that he would, take this team and build it and do what he has to do and add some pieces that he thought was necessary. But as we went on with this season, it kind of seemed like there was something going on between Lou and Wah, and particularly the whole situation with Engvall. I mean, it seems like Lou might want Engvall around, and Wah really doesn't want him around. And bringing Martin on, as much as I love Martin, I love the guy. I really do. My favorite player. His time is done with this team, and it's probably going to be done in the NHL. I mean, I'm not saying the guy doesn't bring any value to any teams. It's just the fourth line age of what we had for that top fourth line of, not top fourth line, but the best fourth line in hockey of Cizikas, Martin, and Clutterbuck. Those days are over. Cizikas is obviously still playing with a lot of effort, but that fourth line has changed. I mean, McLean, Gatcombe, and I think Engvall is on there now, but it's just really no, or Fashing, I think, is on there recently. That's another guy. First goal of the season. What the fuck happened with that guy? When that guy first came onto the scene, we were watching him live, and I was like, this kid has a lot of tenacity, and I love it. And he's another guy that last season and this season was even worse. He just really shit the bed and did not do enough to prove that he could be on this team full time. And that's really what it's been. I mean, there's guys that have come onto this team like Engvall, and I guess got a little bit of excitement. You see his size and skill, and you're thinking, all right, this would be great. Have him on for, a year or two. Nope. 7 years. And then you fuck yourself, and now we're stuck with this guy with a ridiculous contract. And that's on Lou. That's really on Lou. And Lou wanted to play him, and Wah thought, you know what, not going to happen. Not on my team. And it gets down to the point where we're looking at the whole picture and we're thinking, obviously something wrong with front office, but is it Wah too? I mean, he's made some questionable decisions. Don't get me wrong. We'll get into that. But, now is it personnel? And I've been saying that too, that this team is just not what it used to be. And he just doesn't have the pieces to put together to be able to make a Stanley Cup contender. He just doesn't. And that's just reality, ladies and gentlemen. That's really just reality. But Lou having to go would be the biggest change for this team, and it's a necessary change. Call it old school, whatever it is. The whole shaving thing, the numbers on the name on the back doesn't matter as much as the numbers or the logo on the front. I'm sorry, and I get all that. That was great. It was bringing back an identity to this team that at the time really needed that. Team made up a majority of fourth liners and third liners. Not even, you didn't have a big player. And Horvat has been the only big addition that Lou ever had for this team. Obviously, besides Romanov, that was a great trade for that first round pick to get him. I mean, Romanov is our number one defenseman in my mind. He's come just with strides in this team. And, him and Dobson are the guys. I know a lot of people give Dobson a lot of crap, and he hasn't had the season like he had last season, which is really an anomaly for most defensemen anyway. But he's started turning on a little bit towards the end, obviously too little too late. But, you can have an off season. The guy is probably our most offensive defenseman. And we do have D'Angelo now, and he's got a lot of skill and speed too. But for a guy that's probably going to stick around for a while, I mean, you got to hold on to Dobson. I mean, Dobson is young. He's got skill. He's only going to get better. Same thing with Romanov. They're both two guys that, you could really, start to build your defensive out from them. Add some small, cheaper pieces. But you got those two guys, your top two. And however you want to have it. I mean, they haven't played a lot this season, but who knows what's going to happen during the offseason and next season. But yeah, getting rid of Lou, I think will open the doors for players that may want to actually take up an offer to come to this team. I mean, I can't imagine not wanting to come to a brand new arena. Good fans, as much as people want to call us dirty and assholes. I mean, we're not the Rags fans. I don't know if you've ever been to a Ranger game when you're on the opposing team, but they might dump drinks on you. It's happened to me. But yeah, enough shit talking about them. This energy that we bring in the stadium, we're not at the Coliseum anymore. I mean, we're at a nice state-of-the-art arena. To me, I think it's better than MSG, and I know people are going to fucking flip out for that, but I don't give a fuck. To me, MSG is overrated, and I love this UBS arena. It's made for the fans. And to me, to not have guys want to come here means that they probably just don't want to deal with all these little bullshit rules. Like they got to fucking worry about shaving. They got to, and like I said, it seems like a small thing, but look at the majority of the league. Most of these guys are rocking beards, man. You don't really see anybody clean shaven. Even the young guys, you really don't. So, I think something like that is just annoying, and people just don't want to deal with it. And if they rather go next door to the Rangers, then they will. They're playing at the Garden. To me, it's a more of a annoyance to have to deal with something like that. And not only that, you have a team that's not winning. So it's like, how much you really gonna entice big players with? If you got to come in here, here's all these lists of rules. Make sure you follow them. And by the way, we suck. So, what's really bringing new players and guys that are, going to be a top 6, top 3 on our team to want to actually play. And it's just, there's not really a whole lot there. So I think he needs to go. And his mentality of holding on to players for whatever reason, whether it's personal or I have no idea at this point, it's just not working. We really have to undo a lot of this shit. And adding youth and getting rid of some of these burdensome contracts would be great. And selling high. We did that with Nelson, and that was great. He had a great pull. Lou had it was a good trade. In my mind, he got a lot for him. Top prospect in Colorado, and then a first and second round pick. And to me, it's like, that's awesome. You got a lot for him. But that was it. And we were all hoping, Lee or Palmieri, and I get it. They don't want to leave. I understand that. I know Nelson didn't want to leave. Your family's here. You've been here for such a long time. You don't want to uproot towards the end of your career. I get it, but it's a business. And you got to do what's best for the organization. And right now, it just seems like there's a lot of personal ties that are holding on to it. And he may say that that's not the case, but it obviously is, because with everything that's been going on over the season, the past couple seasons, the writing's on the wall. I mean, there's obviously the whole joke about there being a country club and that all these guys are part of it. It's really kind of coming more to light now. And Wah obviously does not agree with it, because he said on different occasions that this was Lou's decision. This is Lou's team. He's doing the best that he can with what Lou's gave him. Not what you really want to hear from a coach. Not really the most professional thing either. But at some point, the frustration is going to build up. And for a guy like Wah, we've all seen how he's been as a player, and then as a coach and general manager of Colorado, that he's been a fiery guy. And he's been subdued for most of the season until most recently, which was Duclair. I mean, that was him just tearing him up. That was something I was like, you know what? He fucking deserved it. He probably shouldn't have done it on TV, but he fucking deserved it. And, I mean, things got to change. And Wah, to me, I don't necessarily consider him to be one of the big problems. If he stays on this team and maybe he's given different pieces, or he's given a little bit more free range to kind of make some decisions, then I could see things being more positive. I do like his outlook a lot of times when he talks about games, good or bad. But it comes down to winning, really, at the end of the day. I mean, we can have 46 shots against the Rangers, I think that's what it was, and lose. And then I think we nearly doubled the Flyers in shots yesterday, and we lost also. So that doesn't mean shit. I mean, we're top in the league. I don't know if we're still number one, but we're up there in the league for face-off percentage wins, face-off wins, and putting on shots. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. We don't have the skills to finish, and then we don't have the defensive prowess anymore to stop these breakouts, to stop these 2-on-1s, 3-on-1, 3-on-2s. Like we don't have it. And the turnovers are still a problem. These are things that we've been having issues with Lambert, and it's still under Wah now. So is it a coach? Is it a general manager? Is it the team? Is it a combination? Who knows? To me, Wah's got to go, and things got to change with the players and personnel on this team. Wah doesn't really seem like the main issue. If he's gone, I wouldn't be surprised, because maybe whoever comes in now as general management just wants to have another clean slate and be like, fuck it, this is my team, not holding on to any baggage. Don't want to have any problems with a fiery coach that thinks he knows better than I do. That I understand. But who knows what ownership is going to do at this point. I've talked about it before, that there might be a situation where Wah gets the reins and Wah is not the coach anymore. And that, defensive coach that he brought up from the Ramparts, maybe he becomes head coach. He gets his first job. Who knows? Who knows? Defensively, we have not been good. Is it that guy or is it this team? I think it's a bit of both, but mostly it's this team just not being up to snuff anymore. The core is aged out, really, and you can't have Romanov and Dobson play the whole time. You really can't. So having said that, do I think Wah has done enough as a coach this season to really hold his job still? I think he has. He's definitely made some questionable decisions. The most recent one, which I was really pissed off about, and I know a lot of people were pissed off about, the whole thing with Tristan Lennox in the Ranger game. So I don't know if he did that out of frustration. I was talking to somebody yesterday, another Islander fan. He was like, maybe Hogberg had the shit. So he's like, listen, we're down 6. Do you mind if I go to the bathroom? You throw Lennox in? Sure. Who gives a fuck? Maybe that's what the conversation was. Or he just tried to embarrass this guy, which I really hope wasn't the case, because then you can't have a guy like that on the team, because then you're just taking it out on a 22-year-old goalie, and you were a goalie your entire career. So why are you even doing that to somebody? Like, you know better than anyone how shitty that's going to be. So putting him in and then taking him out after giving up a goal on 2 shots. I mean, the guy just had his first. This is for his first game. He's been injured for 14 months with a knee injury or something like that. And he played 4 games in Bridgeport. I wish Anthony was here. He'd be able to confirm this stuff. But doing that is such a slap in the face and an embarrassing thing to do against somebody like that. Why would you even do that to a 22-year-old? You just kill his confidence. That's going to be something that he's going to want to forget. And it's not on him. I mean, we were fucking leaving Hogberg out to dry. Yeah, maybe he let off a couple soft ones, but defensively, we were Swiss cheese that fucking game. And a game too where the Islanders could at least walked away with some positive to end this season, and that would have been eliminating the Rangers' chances. They're already eliminated. That's fine. They were already much worse situation than we were. We had a game in hand against them. They just needed Montreal to get a single point, or we needed to beat them. And then they beat us, and we're now in the same boat as them, and then we fuck ourselves. But us being able to at least end their destiny or end their potential mathematic run, which wouldn't have happened anyway, we know that now, but ending their chances, even though we got spanked by them all season, that's the one thing that we could have taken as a positive as a team and as a fans, of just thinking, all right, they beat us first 3 games of this series, let's finish them out. Let's not let them sweep us. Let's end their hopes. And even though we're not going to make it, at least make sure that they definitely don't make it. And if it's by our hands, it's even more satisfying. And we just fucking embarrassed ourselves. Really embarrassed ourselves. I know Wah was saying that a team playing without pride wouldn't put up 46 shots. I get it, but it's like, just because you're putting up 46 shots and then you're sitting back and being lazy defensively, that doesn't necessarily mean you got a lot of pride. Maybe some players do. I mean, the third line of it's been not even the third line. They've been the second line now. Second line of Pajot, Holstrom, and Soplakov, they've been on fire. I mean, Holstrom has had a amazing season. Pajot is always very consistent. Soplakov started off strong, and we were both very excited, me and Anthony, and he was the bigger addition in our mind compared to Duclair. But he was scratched. He was dropped down to the 4th line. He's getting very little minutes sometimes because he made a lot of mistakes, and the mistakes were penalty related mostly, and not being in the right place at the right time and not scoring. And that's what we really needed from him. His strong presence on the puck is great. Him being able to handle it and drive towards the net, that's awesome. Doesn't happen very often. It's hard to take the puck from the guy, but he's also taking penalties in the offensive zone, and that's something that you really don't want. That kills all momentum. So obviously there's going to be a learning curve coming into this league. He's had his full season now, and hopefully he's someone that makes some strides there in the offseason, and we see more from him. It would be nice to have a strong power forward on the wing, and that's what we were really hoping from Zapakov. And we haven't really had that since Kyle Poso. So it's been a little rough for this team on the wing, and that's why we were hoping those additions of him and Duclair would add some speed and that power forward, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it. And you get what you pay for. You really do in this league. So, kind of got off track. But why? Questionable decisions many times throughout the season. I think his frustration has come to a boiling point now with Lou. I do think that Wah is going to be going to ownership and trying to make a case. I mean, shitty thing to do. That guy's your boss going over his head, but what are you going to do now? I mean, what are we going to just hope that they get rid of him on their own without a case from Wah? I mean, if he goes and they bring his fucking dipshit son to be the new GM or the coach or whatever, this team is fucked for a long time. We're going to be in dark ages, and we don't want that. We already have taken too long to make these necessary changes. And right now, adding youth and getting rid of some of these burdensome contracts and selling high while we can is the key. Lee has had a really strong season after a very weak season, the one prior. And listen, I mean, the fact is, now's the time to get rid of him. Yeah, he's our captain, but Horvat has done enough to show that he is captain material. He's put a lot of the pressure on himself, works very hard, does a lot of things on the ice to show why he's the captain. If he has to put the team on his back, he will do his very best to do so. But we don't have a player that is really going to scare other teams and going to take us to that next level. We just don't. And we haven't had that kind of player since Tavares, to be honest. We haven't. And say what you want, Barzal is great, but he's been MIA, and I think he's been held out because the chances were we weren't going to make playoffs, and if we did clinch, then you would see him come back. We'd see him come back before the end of the season and for playoffs. But there's no point in them wasting any of his time. Take your time off, heal, whatever it is. We're not making playoffs. And one thing I'm actually surprised to see is Sorokin going to play tonight, because I mean, after him getting injured, I'm thinking, all right, he's done for the season. They're going to probably just try to keep him safe, and that's it. But I don't know. He's getting some games in the last 3 games, I guess. Maybe he'll play 2 of these last 3. Who knows? But this team needs to get younger fast. And I think us being able to get rid of guys like Lee, Palmieri, Mayfield is going to be very hard to get rid of. Engvall is going to be another guy that's very hard to get rid of. These are guys going to have to try to bury in the NHL, bury their contracts in there, and the AHL, bury their contracts in there. But we have to start trying to make some tough decisions. And if that's packaging some people away and retaining some salary, like Engvall and Mayfield, or I mean, it's hard to say it, but if we get rid of Pajot, I mean, he's another guy that brings a lot of value to any team. It would be hard, but it would be understandable because we don't have a ton of guys that bring a lot of value. And, our most valuable guy is gone. Nelson had an amazing season, and we got a whole lot for him. And, we have to just kind of see what we're going to do now. We didn't get rid of anybody else during before the trade deadline, and now it's going to be that time during the summer. We're going to hopefully see a lot of moves, but the biggest one has to be Lou going. And then youth coming in, and some of these guys just going and finally getting some draft picks and just letting these young guys play. And to me, once we do that, we are not going to have a quick turnaround. I mean, the Rangers had a quick turnaround last season, and they were named the favorites to win the Cup this season. So, early on by a lot of analysts before the season started. I'm so glad they didn't make fucking playoffs. I'm so glad that those analysts are wrong. I mean, we're not going to have a quick turnaround like that. I mean, they got some skilled guys on their team that still continue to play well, and they had some great additions in Vinny Trocheck. I know he's been playing some top line minutes. So it's to the point where we got to just let the young guys play. You got guys like Holmstrom. He's 23 years old. He's had a great season. He's got to stay. I can't imagine Horvat leaving. I mean, you gotta keep that guy. He's a captain if I've ever seen one, and he's a guy that you keep. Um, Barzell, in my mind, is expendable, and I love the guy. I think the guy is great, has a lot of skill, but he hasn't done enough either, and he adds a lot to another team to be on their second line. I mean, he could be on the first line. He's been on our first line, but he hasn't really done enough either, and it's just been a rough season after season for Barzell since Tavares has been gone. He hasn't had that guy that can really carry him through and help him get all his points piling up with the assists. And he doesn't have that shot. I don't know if he doesn't have he has a good shot, but I don't think he has the confidence to really drive to the net and take those shots like Horvat does. Horvat will shoot first, ask questions later. He can still pass. He can do well. I don't really know why Barzal continues to make the same mistakes. He's definitely matured, and he has a two-way game now, which is great. But he's still not our great player. He's a very good player. So is Horvat, very good player. Great players. Top line guys, top six guys. You can see it. But they're not guys that are going to make people, really, really worry. Barzal's been figured out. Goes along the wing, turns around, comes back. I mean, that's something that we're all kind of tired of seeing. And not trying to just shit on Barzal, but we haven't done enough with him, without him, fully healthy, injured. Team hasn't done enough. So to me, if he goes, I would not be surprised. That would just mean a longer retooling, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. To me, I don't see this team making playoffs for the next 2 years, at least, if things are done correctly. 2-3 years, realistically, this team comes back much stronger, younger, and starts making other teams nervous around the league, around their division, more importantly. And that needs to start this summer. Really needs to start. There's not a whole lot of guys in the AHL that we're going to see come up. We haven't really seen it. When push comes to shove and players are hurt, we added people. We got Boquist, Perunovic, and D'Angelo. All guys on cheap contracts, which is great, and I love that. Say what you want about D'Angelo. The guy's got skill. He's got speed. He plays well with Romanov. Bringing him back on a cheap contract, as long as he's not a piece of shit in the locker room, I'm fine with it. Don't think the guy's a great person, but if he adds that skill to this team, and he's been one of our better defenders, obviously besides scoring on himself. I'm not going to let that one go, I guess. But he's been one of our better guys, and he's looked good with Romanov, and that just also is a testament to Romanov of how good he is, because he makes everyone look good around him also. He's a guy that if you bring him back cheap, I'm fine with it. Same thing with Boquist. Guy you bring back cheap, that's fine. But then inject some youth. Draft some younger guys defensively, and maybe try to make a move or two for some, strong players. But I don't see this realistically happening this year or next year, being fully turned around. And I mean, next year, the year after, being fully turned around and being a playoff contending team. This is going to be a little bit of a rough patch. And as fans, we have been through that for a while. We have witnessed some dark days. I was not alive for the golden era. I was not alive for the dynasty years, and I know a lot of fans haven't been, and we have known pretty much nothing but disappointment, and things need to really change. And I think coming down to finally adding some youth and getting some new faces in office would be crucial to this team. Let's check here before we wrap this up. All right. Nobody on Instagram. We had some people join. Our boy Justin. I appreciate the view, Justin. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this team has been frustrating. I know we're all feeling the same thing. I do feel a bit of relief knowing that we're out of playoff contention and just now going to have to look within and make some changes, necessary ones. And Yeah, I mean, I don't have specifics on people that we're going to draft. I don't have specifics on players that we should add. I just know that the players that we need to get rid of, and you know, Martin is another thing I was going to mention. I want to mention this before because his last game, his last home game, in my opinion, is going to be this upcoming Tuesday against the Capitals. I think that's going to be the last time we're going to see him play at UBS Arena as an Islander. And I love Martin. He's had a great career. He's, you know, blood, sweat, and tears for this team. I told him when I finally met the guy years ago that I thought he was the heart of this team. And yeah, I don't think that's ever changed. Even when he's playing, which he hasn't played that much this season, you always see him. He's the last guy to go off the ice into that locker room. He has been an Islander if I've ever saw one. And I think him retiring as an Islander is nothing but fitting. And I love the guy, and I hope that he's not disappointed with how things ended. This is just how the way things go. He's had a great career, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I know most of the fan base wishes the same thing because Matt Martin is the fucking man. He is the fucking man. But yeah, so some dark days ahead, but we needed this reality check. We really did. We can't keep doing the same thing. You know, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's what Lou has been doing. So let's see if we can get Sleepy Lou out of office and out of the general manager position and maybe get somebody in there that really wants to make this team better and will make some tough decisions no matter what the situation is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been an episode of Sunny Days of the Racetrack. We love you. We love the New York Islanders, and we will talk to you soon.